What is the recording of my disorderly conduct?
I don't know at this point. I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't
Is
know.
this her word against mine and I'm being arrested for it?
Yeah.
You're a stupid
Thank you.
Fire me then. I have free speech. This is a public entity. You want to go down that road? Hey guys, Richard with Kansas Freedom News. I've got an interesting case here. I had a young lady reach out to me and said they need help to get exposure to this because they feel they're being railroaded by the Sheriff's Department and the court system in Elk County, Kansas. She laid me out a timeline of what took place, and we're going to go through that timeline, watch a little bit of video of the preliminary hearing, and you're going to start to see things don't quite add up as the Sheriff's Department and the DA's trying to make it play out. So we'll get into that, but in the meantime, let me give you a little background. On June 27th, 2023 in Elk County, Kansas, Robert Walker Jr. and his wife went to the courthouse, ran some errands. They had a temporary tag that was about to expire, so they wanted to get that taken care of. Upon arriving, Robert was asked about his ID to enter this courthouse, and as every free American should do, Robert refused to give up his Fourth Amendment right. In doing so, I guess an argument ensued. Robert refused, but his wife, knowing the tag's about to expire, she needs to get it taken care of, she went ahead and forfeited her rights to get it done. In the meantime, Robert walked over to the Sheriff's Department, which I guess is just right across the alley, to make a complaint, I'm assuming, about the Fourth Amendment violation he has encountered at the courthouse. Arriving at the Sheriff's Department, he picks up the phone to get a hold of dispatch. Of course, the phone doesn't work, so he goes to the window in the little slot in the window, tries to speak with the dispatcher. He can barely hear her, she can barely hear him, and Robert's already hard of hearing, so I'm told. So he speaks up a little louder. I guess the dispatcher took that as an alarming. Eventually, dispatcher said the sheriff wasn't in, which there's going to be a twist in the story about the sheriff. Dispatcher said the sheriff wasn't in, so Robert went over back to the courthouse where his wife was. And in the meantime, dispatcher called an Officer Bliss, which is going to be a female officer you see in this video of his preliminary hearing, and told Officer Bliss that the dispatcher was terrified while Robert was there. I'm guessing what ensued next when Robert got back to the courthouse is the further discussion when Officer Bliss arrived about the Fourth Amendment violation. And I'm going to assume, because we've all been in this situation, that Officer Bliss probably also asked for Robert's ID, and Robert refused to give up his Fourth Amendment right, again, for no crime. And I guess some words went back and forth, some F-bombs and everything else you could think of. Words were probably coming out of Robert's mouth for his frustration and redressing grievances with his government. Officer Bliss decides to arrest Robert Walker Jr. for disorderly conduct for exercising his First Amendment right. That is my guess. That's what I'm understanding so far. Of course, when I get the court documents and police reports and body cam footage, Um, we'll be able to verify this. So this is just an introductory. I've got more of this probably coming, and we'll see what we can do. But in the meantime, let's take a look and see what we got going on here. And you're going to see in this video some red flags are going to be raised. Things are not making sense, guys.
Were you involved with the defendant in this matter in an incident?
Yes.
And what date did that incident occur?
Oh, I don't have the date off the top of my head. It was September, I believe.
Now, when you had the incident where he was arrested, where did the incident occur when you started having interactions with him?
I had interactions with him in the booking room at the Elk County jail court, or at the Elk County Sheriff's Office.
And had there already been interactions with him with another deputy?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you arrive to help with the situation?
Yes, I was called into for support for the deputy that was already dealing with Mr. Walker.
And had there already been any struggles by the time you arrived?
I can't testify to that. I didn't see any struggle with Deputy Bliss prior to me arriving. I arrived at the jail when I first came in contact with Walker.
Okay. And during your interactions with him, did he end up having physical contact with Deputy Bliss?
I didn't see it with my eyes, but I do know because as I entered the room, Deputy Bliss had told me that she had had physical contact with Walker.
Okay. And then while you were in the room at some point, did he end up having physical contact with you?
Yes, ma'am.
And tell us about what happened on that day.
As I entered the room, into the booking room, there was only one way in, which is the door. Deputy Bliss was already standing in the room. She introduced me as to who I was coming into the room. I'd like to just rewind a little bit. As I entered the sheriff's office, I could hear a lot of screaming, a lot of yelling, a lot of belligerent talk, a lot of things, which made me move with a little bit of haste. So when I entered the room again, she introduced me. Immediately, Walker became just very verbally abusive to Deputy Bliss, verbally abusive to me. And so that's when I had contact with Walker.
Okay.
So,
and did he get up out of the chair towards you?
absolutely. I told him that he needed to settle down. He immediately, in an aggressive manner, got up out of the chair. What I felt like was going to approach me and Deputy Bliss. And at that point, I went hands on.
And now, did items in the room get broken before this incident or during it?
It would be during it because I can't testify that there was any broken items in that booking room when we started the incident.
Okay. And what was broken while the incident happened?
I believe it was a chair. Okay. And that the booking table got moved also across the room. So I believe it was a chair that got broken. I can't recall at this point.
I'm going to show you a photo that Under Sheriff Franks took. Is this the chair?
Yes, ma'am. That would be the chair.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And did you end up having injuries?
I did. After the incident, although not right away within the first 24, 48 hours, but after the incident, I started having extreme back pain, was unable to work, and I started seeking medical attention.
Okay, guys, I want to go over a few things real quick and recap on some of the things he just said and want to highlight them. There's some discrepancies in this, and you're going to soon find out. But I want you to pay close attention. Officer Watts thought the incident was in September when the actual incident was in June. That's 4 months difference. That's a 4-month difference. Officer Watts also claims that Walker Jr., handcuffed behind his back, made physical contact with the officer first. I find that kind of interesting. He claims he was verbally abusive. The officer claims that Mr. Walker Jr. was verbally abusive. I wonder if that could be because his rights were violated and he was frustrated because he was redressing his grievance with his government, which is protected. And then also notice Officer Watts claimed to have back pain. Now, what you're going to find interesting about this back pain, and you hear him say he did not report it right away. It was actually 20 to 25 days after this encounter that he claimed back pain. He was so late in claiming back pain that Workman's Comp even denied his claim. I'm not kidding you, folks. You can't make this stuff up. Cops caught lying on the stand, and the DA's helping it. I'm telling you, this thing's going to get interesting, and it does. It does get more interesting. So stay tuned.
And to your knowledge, was Deputy Bliss also injured in the incident?
Yes, ma'am, she sure was.
Okay. Did she go to the ER that day?
I believe so, yes.
All right. And did you go to the ER that day or another day due to this incident?
I actually went to my medical doctor after the incident. I never went to the ER. Deputy Bliss went to the ER that day.
Okay. And was there injuries to your hand as well?
Yeah, I got scraped along the wall. Some injuries to my knuckle or something as we went across the wall into where I was trying to get him in a chair.
Is this the injury to your hand?
Yes, ma'am, that would be yes.
And is this your arm as well?
Yes, ma'am.
And this is pictures prepared by Deputy Bliss?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely accurate.
Okay. And did you have medical studies of the injury to your back?
I did. Throughout my time with the doctor, helping them out with getting me fixed up, I was sent to the hospital in Winfield and had an MRI done on my back.
Okay, guys, I want you to find interesting here that I forgot to mention is pay attention that he's lying in bed during his time on the stand here. Now, I will not show this entire video. This video is over an hour long. I'm just going to try to show you some highlights, some clips that I want you to pay attention to, and kind of the things that really stood out to me is all I want to share. So I will leave a full link in the description and the comments, or in the description section, the full link in the description section to this video if you'd like to watch the entire thing. So yeah, I'm not going to try to sit here and highlight the entire video. I just want to show some certain highlights that stuck out to me watching this, things that raised red flags to me. And when they do show in this preliminary hearing, they do show a couple of camera angles. One does not have audio. It's kind of interesting that one doesn't have audios. And Mr. Walker Jr.'s wife, when she reached out to me, said that when they received body cam and certain camera angles, that they also were missing audio. How interesting is that? So we'll get to some of those once I get copies of all the documents and the body cam footage, which Walker Jr.'s wife said that she has no problem to get me copies of, so we can kind of go through this whole situation, and we're going to try to expose it. If the arrest was an unlawful arrest, we're going to expose them. We're going to expose them for the crooks that they are. So let's get back to some of these highlights. I'll get to where the Officer Watts admits it was 20 to 25 days after the incident, almost a month before he went and seen a doctor for his back.
And what was the results of the MRI?
I had a complete disassociation between the disc in my L3 and L4, and agitation to the discs, nerve pain where it went over my right hip, and I was down for quite a while. Still down.
And are you awaiting surgery for that injury?
I'm in California at the time. I have an appointment the 22nd, which they're going to refer me to a orthopedic and neurosurgeon.
And are you requiring surgery to repair the damage from this incident?
Yes.
I will pass this witness to the defense, Your Honor.
Mr. House?
Mr. Watts, I'm still going to refer to you as deputy since you were deputy at the time.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
When did you first go to work at the Elk County Sheriff's Office?
November 22.
Did it happen this year or last year? Did it happen in 2022 or 2023?
23, sir.
Okay. And do you recall writing a day after the incident a narrative affidavit which was filed with the court on what happened?
Yes.
And there's mention that Deputy Bliss noticed your arm was bleeding, and she pointed that out to you, and maybe you even noticed it after the defendant was settled in a chair.
Yes, that incident right then, there was blood to my arm. I had to clean the blood off the wall that day as well. I believe it was June, not September. I'm sorry, I apologize.
Okay. Or did you scrape it on the wall? Is that what happened?
Yeah, the blood dripped down the wall.
Okay.
From my arm.
Did you have a long sleeve shirt on at that time, a short sleeve shirt?
Be a short sleeve shirt, sir.
Okay. Summer uniform, right?
Yes, sir. I was actually on a day off, so
Okay.
I wasn't in full uniform, but I was in a short sleeve shirt underneath my vest.
Okay. So your report on the 28th, which is the day after, mentioned the scrape to the arm, but didn't say anything about your back. Were you sore that day?
I didn't hear you say that again, sir.
Your report mentions the scrape on your arm and the bleeding on the arm, but there's nothing said about your back. And that's the day after this incident.
Yeah, my back didn't start really bothering me until about 48 hours later, maybe 72, where I started to kind of stiffen up and not be able to function very good.
Did you have any prior back injuries? Have you had trouble with your back previously?
Yes, previously.
And when did that begin?
About 2020, I'd say. Maybe end of 2019.
And what occurred then to injure your back?
Just on the job, wearing the vest for as long as I'd had been, and that kind of thing, and working as a first responder for all the years that I've been in service.
And you started consulting a doctor at that time?
Yes.
Where were you living at that time?
Nevada.
Okay. Did you have any operations or anything of this nature?
No, sir.
So did you continue to have back problems from time to time between?
From time to time, yes.
At some point after this injury, you say you saw a doctor?
After my injury with the incident with Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Yes, I went to the Moline Health Clinic.
You remember how many days after the incident that took place?
Probably about 20, 25 days later.
Have you made any workman's compensation claim for this injury?
I did make a workman's comp claim. I missed the window.
Now you say you missed the window. What do you mean by that?
I waited too long to make the claim according to county policy.
What were you told?
That I was over the 20 days deadline or something like that.
Was there a written report or decision on that?
That was all verbal over the phone. I don't know if the county got a report on that or not.
So workman's compensation was denied,
Yeah, due to the timeline.
and you say you saw your doctor in Moline 20 to 25 days after this incident,
20 to 25 days, yeah.
and then you went to at some point to Winfield for an MRI.
Yep, they sent me to Winfield for an MRI on my back.
What doctor did you see in Moline?
What is her name? The physician's assistant.
Okay.
Yeah, excuse me, I don't go to the doctor very much. I kind of just wing it myself. The physician's assistant in Moline.
Okay. Were you still seeing the doctor occasionally between 2019 or 2020 when this first happened to the date of this incident in 2023?
Yes, I had seen a neurosurgeon in Reno in 2022.
What did that neurosurgeon tell you?
They gave me shots in my back to it's kind of called, they're called faucet injections for pain control.
Okay, and when did you move to Kansas?
Be November. I came there end of October of 2022.
So you pretty much came to Kansas, was it to work at the Elk County Sheriff's Office?
I came to Kansas to work as an emergency manager.
Okay.
All right, guys, I want to go over some other things that Officer Watts there mentioned. Hopefully you noticed the day after this incident, in the report he filed with the court, not one mention of any back pain or a pop in the back. He also stated 2019-2020 he had previous back injury. 2022 he was still having back issues and getting injections by a nerve specialist. So it sounds like his back was already messed up. But you're going to see it was not Walker Jr. that attacked Officer Watts. It was quite the other way around.
Yes, Your Honor. Deputy, the defendant, Mr. Walker, is in handcuffs, and the handcuffs are behind him, right?
Yes, sir.
And he took a step toward you all. He stood up.
One fluid motion.
You went hands on. Did that amount to a chokehold on him?
Absolutely not.
Did you have your arms in his neck?
I had my arms to the side of his neck, about shoulder area. My other hand was about his chest right here.
The reports, I think mentioned in your statement and certainly in other reports indicate that photographs were taken of his neck.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
I believe so, yes.
He had been handcuffed and he was cuffed with his hands behind him.
Yes, sir.
Didn't at some point after the incident you mentioned to him, it looks like I owe you a shirt?
Yes, I ripped his shirt during the incident.
Okay. No further questions, Judge.
Next witness, please.
We'll call Deputy Bliss.
Deputy, if you'd raise your right hand, please. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
And how are you employed?
I'm a federal police officer at the Wichita VA.
Were you previously a deputy with the Elk County Sheriff's Office?
I was.
And when you were with the Elk County Sheriff's Office, what date were you dispatched to deal with Mr. Walker?
If you don't mind if I look at my notes, on June 27th.
Okay. Was that in 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
And where was he located at when you were dispatched to deal with him?
At the north entrance of the courthouse.
And what was the issue with Mr. Walker as to why you were dispatched there?
The dispatch on duty at the time called and then dispatched me because he had been yelling at her.
And was he yelling loudly?
Yes, ma'am.
And were there profanities?
Yes, ma'am.
When you arrived, did he continue the same behavior towards you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but on the what she was just mentioning on his choice of words, the way he was expressing those words, obviously showing frustration and anger, is all protected speech. Of course, this is not legal advice. Please consult an attorney for legal advice. But I want to bring up some case law for you, and you can look into them. Take your consideration for that is accept it for what it says. And I'm going to butcher some of these, so bear with me. The ACLU, Ahmed v. Department of For Hire Vehicles, Norwell v. Cincinnati, 1973, Lewis v. New Orleans, 1974, Houston v. Hill, 1987, which is a popular one, Cohen v. California, another man's vulgar is another man's lyric, is what that one is. US v. and I'm going to butcher this, Pucha of 2001. We also have like Texas v. Johnson, Terminello versus Chicago, and a recent one here that was just ruled in March of 2024, City of Wichita versus Gabrielle Griffey. The City of Wichita versus Gabrielle Griffey is an interesting one. It's got to do with disorderly conduct and the noisy conduct which causes alarm. That was just ruled in March of 2024 this year. That says that Wichita's version, and I think it also matches the state's version, which caused it to be unconstitutionally overbreached. So it'd be interesting on the details of that, but those are what I came up with and kind of give you an idea what to look at and look into. So let's get back to Officer Bliss' testimony.
And can you describe for us what his behavior was like when you were trying to deal with him?
Not compliant, argumentative, loud.
Okay.
Vulgar language.
Okay. And what kind of names was he calling dispatch and yourself?
If I may use the language, if that's okay, he told me to F off he actually used the word, told me to get back in my car. At one point he had called me names.
Okay. And what kind of names was he calling you?
He called me a fat cow.
No.
That's
Mr. Walker, you need to be quiet. The witness is on the stand testifying. Please proceed.
Was he yelling like this towards the dispatcher as well?
I did not hear the dispatch. I just have the statement that she had written and then communicated with her that it was just language and it upset her.
Okay. And was he wanting to go into the courthouse?
He was trying to gain access into the courthouse. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And now when you ended up going over to interact with him, did you end up taking him into custody?
Yes, ma'am, I did eventually.
And when you were taking him into custody, did you have issues getting him into custody?
He was not compliant. I had to tell him several times to turn around and place his hands behind his back because he was under arrest.
Did you eventually get him over to the sheriff's office?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
And after you were at the sheriff's office with him in the booking room, Did it become physical?
It actually started physical before we got into the booking room, ma'am.
Okay, when did it first become physical, your interactions with him?
I want to take a moment here and go over something that this officer was just saying versus what I was told by the wife of Robert Walker Jr. She stated that Bliss has told him that he was under arrest 4 times within 2 minutes, that she had read him his rights, but funny thing is there's no audio. There's no proof of that, plus the county attorney didn't show any of that in court. He held his hands out to her and told him if he'd done anything wrong, then to arrest him. He mentioned this 3 times. Only when he called her a stupid bee did she tell him he was under arrest. Be interesting if we can get a hold of these body cameras. This is why body cameras are important. The body camera will not lie on whether or not Robert resisted, gave any problems, whether he held his hands out, said arrest me. If I did something wrong, arrest me. That'd be pretty interesting right here. Probably destroy this case, which means this, I already think, and I'm already under the consumption that this is an unlawful arrest. But we'll keep going.
When we're almost into the booking room right there in the foyer, he used his elbow and elbowed me. I told him not to elbow me.
Okay. And did you ask for backup to come to the sheriff's office because he was out of control?
Yes, ma'am. I actually asked for backup before I even was able to get him into custody while we were still standing out in front of the courthouse.
Okay. Now, once he was into custody and over at the sheriff's office, was he still acting the same way towards you?
Yes, ma'am.
And at some point, did a struggle and occur with him?
Yes, ma'am. As we were walking into the booking room through the doorway.
Okay. Now, when that struggle occurred, were you injured?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
Did you end up seeking medical attention at the ER?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Did you end up being put on leave as well for your injury?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you help download the security video and submit it to the state as part of your investigation in this matter?
Yes, ma'am. I downloaded my body cam and submitted it.
And was there also booking room camera?
Yes, ma'am. Sheriff Walker, I believe, downloaded that for us.
And is it a true and accurate depiction of what occurred on June 27th of 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, I have admitted my laptop is the second county attorney on the screen, and I would like to play the video for you and admit it as states.
Mr. House?
No objection.
Very well. You may, stage 1 is admitted and you may publish the video.
That's Frank's body camera that we need to get all these damn cameras.
Okay. Mr. House, if you and your client need to communicate, you might want to mute your screen, please.
All right, I think I have found the right one. I'm going to mute this screen and switch over, Jeff.
Is there sound with this video?
Did you where if there was sound with this video in the booking room? Miss Bliss, Officer Bliss, do you recall if there was sound in this video?
Yes, ma'am, there is.
If we could go back to the beginning of this video with sound.
I know my body cam footage had, but when I had it, it had sound as well, Your Honor. Jill, you might have to play it through the old media system, the old media player. I think that's the problem. So if you right click on it and play with the old media there, yeah.
Deputy, was it before or after this that he, had the struggle with you at the door?
Do what, ma'am? I can't hear you hardly.
Was it before or after this that you had this struggle with him?
It was before. This is when Deputy Watts come in. There's another video clip where you can actually see the lights come on as we walk in the video, or walk in the doorway, excuse me. It might be a different camera angle as well. It might be a different video clip. That's after. That's when Deputy Watts is.
Well, I would like if we can do it, I would like to have the exhibit played. If there's sound, have sound with it and let it run continuously as the entire exhibit. We've been kind of going back and forth trying to, I think, to improve the situation, but
and I think it runs about 10 seconds maybe when it's dark. I don't remember how many seconds, but it takes a minute to get when the light comes on.
Is that what's going on? Police brutality shit, whatever the fuck disorderly, and whatever else you can fucking think of.
They're right there. I'm just saying. Sir? Hey! Sir!
You!
Sit down!
Don't push me!
You don't freaking kick my chair!
I kicked that fucking chair. I paid for that fucking chair with my taxes, you dumb bitch. You don't own shit.
Sit down.
You fuck off.
Who?
See that?
Yeah, you pushed the chair.
You pushed me into the chair, you stupid lying bitch.
Whatever. Three here.
You work for the county, you dumb bitch. You ain't fucking the law. You ain't. Yeah, snicker about it. You're law enforcement. What law was broken?
Would you write me a statement?
What law was broken?
Disorderly conduct, sir. I've already.
You are not the fucking complainant. You can't be the complainant. You are law enforcement, not the complainant. You are not the victim.
I'm enforcing the law.
You're not the victim.
No, she is. So is society.
Oh, well, she is. What did I do to her?
Disorderly conduct.
What was in public?
Disorderly conduct.
Oh, was it? I would like to see the recording of my disorderly conduct. Hello?
You what?
Where's the recording of my disorderly conduct?
I don't know at this point. I don't.
You don't know?
I don't.
It's just her word against mine, and I'm being arrested for it?
Yeah.
You're a stupid bitch.
Thank you.
I'm gonna love this.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, I want to address a few things here. First off, let's address the elephant in the room. I don't think I would have been quite so aggressive on kicking that chair, but to me, I'm not handcuffed. My rights were not violated, so I can't put myself in that situation of being that frustrated. And to my opinion, it kind of looks like he went to kick it just to spin it around a little bit more so he could easily sit down in it. Since he is handcuffed, he can't use his hands. And being frustrated, he probably did it a little harder than what I would have probably would have. Otherwise, I didn't see anything here too egregious by Mr. Roberts. You can hear him using his free speech and words to redress his grievances, but notice, confronted and questioned about the crime that he was being committed to be arrested, she just says disorderly conduct and couldn't even state what part of the disorderly conduct he had committed to be arrested for that. She even said she didn't even know where the evidence is. Is her body cam running? Is that why Robert Walker Jr. and his wife don't have a copy of it? It's pretty interesting, guys. Pretty interesting that they would hide the body cam footage of the arrest to this point right here. Let's keep watching.
I'd like to meet Deputy Watts.
Leave it.
He's being arrested for disorderly conduct.
You can fuck off.
Hey.
And you can fuck off too. What are you gonna fucking do?
Cedar fucking Sheriff. I am not the fucking one.
Down here, alright? That's all they going to do, you stupid son of a bitch.
Sit down.
Sit.
Sit down.
Down.
Sit down. Sit down.
Sit down.
And
Get one here now.
get one. And out. Sit down.
I hope this all will be recorded.
It is.
Oh,
Sit
it's
down.
totally on
Get in a lawsuit, motherfucker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sit down.
Can I tax myself your pension? Yes,
Sit down.
you lose your police brutality.
Sit down.
Yeah.
Sit down and stay sitting down.
Nope, this motherfucker right here just slammed my ass for no
Sit
fucking
down.
reason. Just because I stood up!
Sit down.
Just because I stood up, you fucking little pussy. Yeah,
Yeah, this is what I.
yeah.
This is what I-
I'm in handcuffs and you got a fucking badge, you little prick.
While you were in the room at some point, did he end up having physical contact with you?
Yes, ma'am. Verbally abusive to me. And so that's when I had contact with Walker.
Disorderly conduct.
You can fuck off.
Hey.
And you can fuck off too.
So there you have it, folks. Robert Walker Jr. They took the disorderly conduct charge and upped it to a felony assault on an officer because the officer claims that Robert Walker Jr. stepped towards him in an aggressive manner. He stood up and stepped towards him in an aggressive manner. Now, what did this video just show? All I see is a frustrated man stand up to face his accusers. He didn't get aggressive with him, didn't even step towards the officer. And then we add in 20 to 25 days after this incident, when this officer attacked Mr. Walker Jr., he all of a sudden has back problems, which were already pre-existing 2019, 2020, and in 2022 still taking injections. Come on. We know this officer's a dang liar. And this woman, Bliss, she falsely arrested this man for exercising his First Amendment rights, redressing grievances for his violation of his Fourth Amendment. And they're going to charge him with disorderly conduct. Now, I'll put the description to this full video, or link to this full video in the description. Let me spit that out for you. The link to this video, full video, in the description so you can watch the entirety if you want. I wanted to just highlight the main key points that I thought raised red flags, and I find this very, Very, very interesting. And here's the interesting story I told you about the sheriff. Sheriff is John Walker. John Walker is Robert Walker Jr.'s cousin. That's right, folks. Robert Walker Jr.'s cousin, the sheriff, John Walker, the sheriff, his department, and his deputies are violating their Robert Walker Jr.'s rights. John Walker is violating his own cousin's rights. Right there. And then you have this DA who's complicit and trying to continue with the charges and up the charges from a disorderly conduct to now a felony assault on an officer when the officer charged Robert Walker Jr. You can't get anything better than this, folks. And as I said, I am working very closely with Robert Walker Jr.'s wife, who's going to try to get me some more body cams. I did put out some public records requests. And please, guys, by all means, redress your grievances with these people. Call the Sheriff's Department. Call the DA. File a grievance with your government here and let them know we're not going to stand for this. We, the people, are not going to put up with violation of our rights and this malicious prosecution that we've got going on here by this DA. I think that Elk County citizens ought to vote this woman out of office. I hope she's up for election this year. I hope this gets out in time and she's out of office. So with that said, file grievances with your government, redress your grievances. Let's stand up for what's right. As I get more information, more videos, of course, I'm going to be giving updates on this case, and hopefully we can help Robert Walker Jr. get some justice and get this thing taken care of for him, because he has every right to be frustrated. He has every right to be angry. Case laws after case law that supports this. So let's get it done, guys. Let's get it done. I was not expecting this video to be this long, but unfortunately it did end up because there was a lot of highlights I wanted to share with you guys. So if you guys have any questions, please leave your comments and thoughts and opinions down there in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this, and let's get these guys straightened out over in Elk County. And all you auditors out there, if you'd like to visit Elk County, Kansas, please, by all means, Elk County, Kansas, the Sheriff's Department and the courthouse. Let's test this Fourth Amendment violation they've got going on over there. But other than that, guys, be safe. Stay cool out there. It's pretty warm. And God bless.